All right, phase two deep dive. This one is kind of where the meat hits the road. This is gonna be crucial. Let me get my all right. So this one's going to be crucial. This one is a data point. So this is I how do you say it's kind of like you've spent a month or two or however long trying to figure out, what are my rules going to be? What are my rules going to be? I'm trying this, I'm trying that, I'm trying this, I'm experimenting, I'm doing this, that. And you're trying to figure this out. And you finally, after all that experimentation, all that tagging, all that journaling, all that back testing, all that running through the mill, you finally come up with something that you feel very confident with. You've come up with some key guidelines that you feel I got some rules here that I feel are working really good. They match with your tags. You're getting some good results from them, and you kind of feel good about it. So note that through this whole process, you can always modify those rules. When I say that in a sense that you just want to barely tweak. You don't want to, if you're making a drastic change, then you're not ready. Go back to phase one, make sure it's right. Make sure you got the numbers, make sure you got everything's working good. So then you're gonna go to phase two. Phase two, I've got a plan. Let's say I got 2 touch point, 3 touch point break plan for trend line trading. You've got this figured out. You know what your setup, you want your setup to look like. You know what you want to see for 2 touch point. You know what you want to see for 3 touch point. You want to whatever the case may be. You want to make sure it's not in consolidation. You want to make sure it's, whatever the case may be. If you're a 5-minute trader, maybe consolidation is kind of key. Maybe you like it because you know the top and you know the bottom. I don't know. That's going to be you. That is the most unique thing about this. It's you're creating you, basically. We all have Tori's base, Tori's trendline trading base. That's our base. And we all use it, and it's obviously a proven simple method for price action and trading. But now you get to tweak it. Now you get to take it and just put your signature on it. Make it yours. See the market the way you see the market. And with that, I know I have this backtesting plan, 4 phases. It's all pretty well laid out. It was laid out for me. Just remember that. It was laid out for me. So everything I teach here, I want you to take it and tweak it to you. Make it yours. Take my ideas. The main goal I have here, not that you do my backtesting plan, but that you backtest purposefully with purpose. That's going to make the difference. If you're backtesting like you play video games, you're not going to learn. If you're backtesting something bad over and over and over, you're learning bad habits. This is going to dial you down to the things that work so that you can start practicing and backtesting the things that work. And so it's going to create better positive habits in your backtesting. So, proving your data, proving the timeline. We want to start with, you want the 25-50 trades. So this is kind of crucial. And this is going to be different for everyone. If you're a 4-hour trader, it's going to be about 2 years worth of trading. Okay. If you're a 1-hour trader, it might be one year, maybe 6 months. If you're a 15-minute trader, that could be a month. What I don't want is if you're a lower time frame trader, don't do January. do a week in February, a week in July, a week in August, a week in November. So break it up so that you're getting all through the year and you're getting a better variety. So you don't want to get caught in one year that was or 1 month that was a really bad month. If you're a 1 hour trader, maybe you do 2 months, 2 months, 2 months. You kind of break it up through the year. Get a little bit of a feel of the whole year as much as you can. You figure that out. Whatever you trade to do your data point, whatever time frame you decide you're going to do, remember this, because this is going to be really crucial on phase 3, because we're going to prove our system works. We have a data point, we have something to trade against. So in phase 3, we're going to trade against that. So let's say we prove our system, and we prove like maybe it's got a 75% win rate. Now we can go back, like for me, I did 23 and 24 year. I could go back with that same instrument and go back to 23 and 24, trade it again in phase 3, and see if I can hit that 75%, which I knew I wouldn't, but it was kind of it's a point for me to say how well am I seeing it. We'll get to that in phase 3. Hopefully next week I'm able to do a phase 3. So phase 2, we want that data point. Get a time, remember this time, remember the dates, because you're going to trade it again. This is crucial. Okay, spread it out as best you can through the year. Second part, one contract. We want to trade the minimum. If you're doing futures, trade your smallest amount. It's not about the money. We are not about the money. My whole system came about because in 2025, I remember all the trading gurus telling me, they repeat it over and over. I know you all have heard it too if you've been on any other YouTube. It's trade your rules, prove your rules, stay disciplined to your rules, and stick to your rules, and backtest your rules. And that's what I'm trying to get to. So let's get to technique. Let's prove our rules work. Let's take money out of the equation. Money will come with good rules. If we got a good technique, the money will come. All right. So don't get caught up in the money yet. If you're caught up in the money, you're just gonna be caught up in that, and you're gonna miss the technique. So now we got that. We got our instrument and or instruments. This is the point. So in phase 1, you had one instrument you really liked, and that was the one that you got your rules. Phase 2, you want to start with that instrument, and then if you want to experiment with another instrument with your rules, let's say you did MES and your rules, and you did phase 2 and it came up and you have a 75% win rate. It's looking really good. Like that's awesome if you get that. And you think, okay, now I want to trade crude oil. Take it to phase 2. See, back test, you're basically backdated testing this, that your rules will work with crude oil. And I say this because I had crude oil and it didn't work. My rules did not work well with crude oil. I couldn't hit a 50% win rate. So I had to make the decision, I'm not trading crude oil. This here, we're gonna be very picky. We're gonna be very picky. We only want trades that fit our rule book. I don't care if your trade took off to the moon and worked out great, and you look back and you say, that really wasn't per my rules. Get rid of it. Delete it. If you have a losing trade and it was 100% per your rules, Keep it. This is a discipline. This is where we're going to start training discipline. Discipline is one of the hardest things as a trader. One of those emotions, we're always talking about emotions in trading. Discipline is probably the hardest one. Sticking to your rules. If you can't do this in backtesting because you're trying to get a good result, you're trying to get a high score, it's just not going to work. You're going to only cheat yourself. You're not going to cheat anybody but yourself, because this is your trading. You and in the market, that's all there is to it. Don't cheat yourself. So we're going to literally take trades, and these trades have to fit your rules. Absolutely have to fit them. Win or loss. Anything that doesn't, we delete it. We don't want that information. We don't want that data. We're going to record and journal all our trades just like we did in phase 1. We're going to use the same tags as we did in phase 1. We can take and on these tags, we can lighten it up a little bit. Maybe you went through and you had like me at one time, I swear I must have had like 150 tags. And before I went into phase 2, I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. I'm like, oh, I don't really need that. I don't need that. I hardly used it once. I did that once. I don't even know what this tag's supposed to mean anymore. Things like that. So I cleaned it up. Got the things I want, because like I said, we're still capable of refining our system, but just little tweaks, not too much. So go ahead and tag. We're going to tag everything just the same way we did in phase 1. And we're going to prove our rules. And I wanted to show you in here, when you open up the journal, you have the session notes. If it helps, I mean, I think there's a way you can get them printed out here on your screen, but if it helps, or you can have it on paper in front of you, whatever you do, have those rules here. Have your 2 touch point break, your 3 touch point break. Maybe you're just doing a bounce. Maybe you're just focused on one particular playbook at this time. However you do it, get your playbook up here. Get it set up so that you know what you're doing. So that when you're looking at a trade, before you journal it or after you take it, you can come here and you can say, did that fit my rules? And then right at that point, you're going to be able to decide whether or not you can delete it or record it. Only trades that fit your rules. That is the key. This is a proving ground. This says, hey, I tried to invent the light bulb 7,000 times, and at this one, I'm pretty darn sure it's working. But does it work if I turn the light switch on and off 500 times? Does it work if I leave it on for 14 hours? Does it work if it's off for 2 days and on for 3 days? Now you're proving that it works. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but I'm just trying to drive it in a little bit. And remember, we're all about technique. So let's run through this. Let's take a couple trades, do a couple recording and stuff, and we'll go on from here. So we're back into our old faithful MES in the 1 hour on 2024. I'm basing this off of my system. I'm basing this off of my time frame of trading, which is from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I got the two touch point break and a 3 touch point break. I do have a bounce play, but for less noise, we're just going to go with these 2. I know them well. I have been back testing them for almost 8 months now. We got 1 contract lined up, and let's see what happens. So we got a break, a 2 touch point break. That looks really good, but I don't have a quality support resistance level right here. And so I can't take a 2 touch point break without a quality support resistance. In a sense, I have one. I have one right about here, but it's kind of fuzzy here. It only hits once here, got broke here, and then once here. And then, so it's just, it's not a quality. I want more. I want at least four or 5 points that I can see. It's one that's good to keep an eye on, but not one to trade off of, if that makes sense. That's for me. Any tips I give you, I'm giving them to you just so that you can back test them and trade them. Don't ever take what I do as, oh, that's the key, because I have no magic key. Okay. I just know what works in my brain. And I'm trying to throw it out there so maybe you can see things that you're not seeing. So far, there's a good reason why I didn't take it. That's why we have rules, right? To help eliminate the fake outs. All right, we need to adjust this guy. He's got a good point B. That to me is a good quality point B. We're at 11 o'clock. I hope I get at least one trade. I'm kind of picky, so sometimes can go a ways without a trade. I didn't like this point B. That's why I didn't initially have a line here. This point B is it's okay, but it's kind of weak. But I noticed this guy was coming down and kind of respecting that trend line. So I kind of wanted to throw that up there and do it. I'm gonna need to do something here real quick. We're gonna go to green. There we go. I don't like it when my crosshairs are matching the color of my support resistance levels. All right, let's see what we get here. If that, oh, so we only got 2 touch points here. I kind of count that 1.5. And I don't have a support line. We kind of got one there. We got one. We got a little bit of respect there, a little bit of respect there, a little bit of respect there. You know, that's a possibility. That's pretty close to a support level. I'm not going to take it. So this is something I'm looking for. Let's just throw it up there. I don't have a good reversal here that tells me that this is 100% ready to drop. Also, if I got in here, I do have a strong support right here. So I'm kind of concerned like that's not enough. If I were to get in here and it bounces off of this, I'm not making that much. It's just not worth me to hope it'll keep going and break through this and this. So I'm gonna remove that. We'll keep playing here. Here we're at the end of the day. Let's go to tomorrow. And tomorrow came in, broke down, made a nice move. I need to get rid of this guy now. We got a break here. I just got a bunch of trend lines and obstacles. Like I just don't feel like I can get enough movement on that. I would love, now I don't have my bounce play book in here. And that's okay, it wouldn't work. This is the, I think I mentioned, this is the 1 hour in MES. Now some of you are probably wondering, why didn't I run a trend line here? I could have, but that's hardly any data to me. Like that's just not enough data. It's a good point B, but it's not enough data. It would be a 1-2 touch point. There's no, again, there's no support level there. It just doesn't, I don't need it clogging my screen. Sometimes putting a line in really does nothing more than force a trade. We don't ever want to force a trade. Do I have a support level here that's worthwhile? Because that's a good level. Coming up to that, we got 1, 2. We got a good, this rejection's really good here for a move up. I see a great support level here, all of these guys. Let's see why. Look at that. So one of the things I like is a pause, and that's a pause right there. And pauses are a great move for me. But again, I just don't have a support level there. And I got all-time high right here. Yeah, we're close enough. Let's go to the next day. All right. Let's see what we got here now. That line's flat. So you see how I take this? I'm not just running through these things really quick. All this back testing, if you're doing it purposefully and you're really thinking about it and really digging in to get this processed, it will take time. It will take time. You know, I want to stand back and I want to look. I want to see what's happening here. I want to know what's going on. I just don't got a good point B. I want one right off of here. I like this little move here. I can almost guarantee this thing's coming down. I say that and it'll go the other way. Watch. See that? It's because I said it. All right. So weak. So weak. The silence. There's a point B. One, two, three. I'm gonna back this up because we're going by our rules. I can do this. It's not, we're trying to prove our rules. I'm not trying to find my rules or guess at my rules right now. So I have 1, 2, I can't really say 3, but that's 2.5. And we have an all-time high here, which is a support resistance level. So if we were watching, this candle broke through. So now I want to check my risk. I want to be entering above the support resistance level. And I want to put my stop down here. So my stop is within my risk. It's below the safety line and it's below a support resistance level. I had, this is what I call walking the line. We have a support line here and a trend line. This is just kind of a consolidation, ready to blow move. And I'm using the all-time high as my support level because it's a 2-point break. So if I go to my rules here, 2 touch point break, I have a retest pause. So when I say retest pause, that for me has a bigger meaning than just a retest pause. So that's what it means. This is one of the things that I go with. This is walk the line. Support resistance level at breakout. That's the all-time high. Low risk. It's below 2%. I'm trading a $20,000 account, so 1% will be $200. My trade management will be by safety line or managed by a support resistance level. In other words, I'm going to exit on the safety line or I'm going to exit on a support resistance level. So that's my rules on a 2 touch point. I'm looking at it, we're hitting it. Let's see what happens here. Okay, back here. You're going to see something that's not Corey certified, so I'm not going to even explain it other than how I trail straight up moves. I don't want this thing to come all the way back down here without me getting him to move. All right, I'm coming up here. We are at 1600, so I need to skip the day. Now we're waking up, looking at the charts again. This is what we made overnight. I love this move. We got a point B. So now I get to come in with a steeper trend line. A lot of people will take a trend line like this. Some of the things that happen is they'll come in and make that dashed. That way they know it's not like 100% I have to live by this trend line. Safety line. This is ultimately the OG safety line. So if we break this, I have room to think. You always want to give wiggle room. I'm moving this up to just below that point B, and we'll see what today brings. It's struggling to get up there, but it's trying. Hang on. All right, I'm going to allow this point B break. I'm going to tighten up a little bit here on this point B here. I'm going to be walking out of here with $217. I don't care what this says. This is what matters because this is the money I'm locking in. That's the only dollar amount that matters to me. I'm getting a little bit of a reversal signal. We're getting close to the end of the day. If this thing takes off again, I want to be a part of it. Nope. All right, it knocked me out right here. So we're going to come in. I did an entry here. I did my stop loss here. And I did an exit here. And because we're at late in the day, I kind of like just shooting to the next morning. I like to see what happened. Like, did I get out too early? And it just helps me think a little bit further down the road, like for my trade management. Was I holding it too tight? Was this too tight? And look, it ended up coming clear down here across the OG safety line anyway. So it wasn't going to gain anymore. So I have that, shrink my screen so I can get the most data out of it. Come over here, trade notes, hit the one that's the trade I took. I'm going to say entry at all-time high. Oops. Two touch point break. Using as support resistance level. Oops. Ran steeper safety line. And then click the camera, gives you a nice little photo of your shot. Now we have playbooks. So in phase one, you didn't have a playbook. So we didn't record that, but now we have a playbook. So now we can start recording our playbook and actually seeing how we're doing on that. So you can come in here. This is my actual playbook. So we had I call this a retest before. So this is a retest before the break. It was low risk. There was a support resistance level. The candle breaking through, the candle I entered in, was a strong candle. It was not a full candle after. And I had a clear, strong reversal, which is basically this walk the line. Now we're going with the trend. So with the trend, my rule is to trail candle and or add a steeper trend safety line, which I did. Come in here, tag the trend line. I want to update the trend line. We have a 2 touch point. Here we go, two touch point. We had gap after points. No, we had gaps before points. So here's the points. Here's the gap. The gaps came before the points. Point A is always at the beginning, so I don't count that. Less than a week of data? No. Over a week? Yes. Entry after pullback before main candle, break of support resistance. Yep. Candle was open immediately after break. You could pretty much say that. Candle reaction, candle full after break. So candle reaction, it just completely filled out after break. It was a strong candle at break. Overall trend, I was with the macro trend, and the micro trend was, I don't have that. It was in jail, wasn't it? It was completely in jail going sideways. And that was just a nice pop out. Pattern, I did walk the line, support resistance level. That was my pattern. That these are the patterns. These are all the things that I reference when I reference my pause retest. Just a way of me making it easier in my brain. So now we have that recorded. Now I can come back and look, even though I've already taken time to look at it, I know that that was a trade that was per my rules. It fit my rules. I'm recording it and I'm ready to adjust everything, remove all my markings. When you're going back and reviewing your trades, having these little items, have everything as best as you can the way it was, really does help a lot in helping you see when you go back and look at things. So now we got a new all-time high up here, and I feel like for me, I'm going to change this to a support zone, which I usually do with this. Boom. So this feels like a major bouncing zone. It's hit here, it's come in here, it's hung out in here twice. So I want to be careful of this whole zone area. I want to know that this is danger. So that if price is coming down and I'm in a trade, it needs to come down and go all the way through. I can't just say that it needs to break this line. It needs to break both lines. So that's something I do. And that usually happens after a move up. We can shrink this, look at it on the 4 hour. Price made a move up, leveled out, kind of came down and back and up. You'll see that a lot where it just kind of creates a nice little zone. Nice little zones. That's something you'll learn with watching this and tagging things and watching all these different items. And so that's what we're doing. Win or lose, we want to record everything that is, you're not going to have 100% win rate. We all know that. So you want to record all of them. You want to know what your losses are, because this is going to help you understand what trading looks like. This is going to help you figure out how this all works. If that trade was not a trade, after I took it and the trade was not a trade, come here to closed positions and you can just come over here and trash it. These were setups that we did not take. And that's all you're doing. So that trade was $200, only one contract. That's all I'm trading. I'm not caring about the money. Like I said, I care more that my rules are working or not working. And if they're not working, I just need to get that data point. What's my win rate going to be? What's that going to look like? I got to be honest with myself. I got to be disciplined with myself. And you notice that I took it. I saw this breakout. I backed down because this is going way much faster than it would in the hour time frame. If I was watching this, actually sitting here watching this on an hour, I would have had plenty of time to see it coming up and say, hey, you know what, that looks like that might be a trade. And I'd have plenty of time to think about it before hitting it. I don't mind. This isn't cheating me coming back, because I'm not trying to, in phase 3, it would be cheating. In phase 2, in phase 1, it is not. We're trying to prove that our trade rules work. We're trying to prove that our system, whatever you developed in phase 1, works. So this is not cheating if you're going back because you're seeing your rule and you missed it because the candles were going too fast. So do realize that. What is cheating is I just had one that shot to the moon. It was $1,000 win on one contract, but the break was a 2 touch point break, and it didn't have my support resistance level. And my rule says I have to have a support resistance level. That, if you take that, that's cheating, because it's not per your rules. We've got to back it off. Maybe with that, you maybe think, okay, well, what happened? Why did that one take off? And you can do some study. You can do some looking back at it and say, what happened? Was there a little tweak that you could have made? And tag it, journal it, but don't take it for your data point. You don't want that in your data. You want real data to your rules. There was a couple moves. There was this move here that came up, and that could have been a good $150 move right here. And I didn't take it because it didn't have a quality support resistance, and I didn't force it. I didn't force it into a trade either. There wasn't enough points for me to call that a good support resistance level on a 2 touch point, so I didn't take it. So that's the discipline you need. That's how we do phase 2. This is proving your rules work. That's all it is. We're just digging in and proving all that hard work you did on phase 1. We're just wanting to prove it works.